I was never a fan of Martin guitars. I did have a Martin a couple of years ago, and after my experience with that one, I won't say which guitar it was, but I really wasn't much of a fan of Martin guitars until I played this 1973 Martin D18, and as you can tell, I'm pretty happy with it. And so I thought I'll take some time today to review this guitar and give you my first impressions about it, and maybe it will help you make up your mind on whether you want to get something like this. What you're hearing is the natural sound of this guitar through a Rode NT USB mic. There are no effects added. And this is me playing just fingerstyle without a pick. This is how the guitar sounds. It does have a very sweet sound. There is no denying it. 48 years, 50 years of playing this guitar has seasoned the wood, and the sound is extremely, I would say, sweet, extremely polished, and there's definitely a marked difference you can tell in the sustain and the resonance you get. The sound reminds me a lot of the sound that John Renbourn got on his guitars. I'm not sure if he was playing a Martin or not, probably not. But it's a very, very sweet sound, beautiful sustain, and the texture and quality of the sound is different. There's no truss rod in this guitar. I think they started putting truss rods only in the 80s or the late 70s. This is me still showing off that I have a 1973 vintage Martin guitar. The bass does boom. You may not notice it when you're just playing with the fleshy part of your thumb. If I go a little away from the mic and I'll show you the way the bass booms and twangs, it's a beautiful sound. This is me just playing with a pick. Let's see how I can capture the damped thumb picking style and how it sounds. Believe me, the bass really thumps when you damp it. So this is me playing an open bass, but if I damp it, the first thing that strikes out about this is the treble. The bass booms, yes, the bass is loud, but the treble is just so beautiful, sweet. It's string number 2 and 3 that they really jump out to you when you start strumming the chords. And I'm going far because I'm trying to go away from the mic. This guitar is loud, believe me. Just trying to record it with some clarity so that you can get an idea of the consistency and the clarity of the sound and the texture of the sound. And let's do a little bit of old-fashioned finger picking to see how this responds. was my initial impressions of the 1973 D18 Martin that I just played and reviewed. Obviously, this is a guitar that you want to get to know over time, and I'm not going to make the mistake of firming up my impression about it in a couple of days of playing. There's certainly a lot to discover in this guitar, and I have a feeling that it will surprise you from time to time with the way it sounds. The bass, in particular, I did not notice the first time I played it, but subsequent times, especially if I used a thumb pick, I did start to notice the whoomp you get from the bass, especially if you capo it on the second fret. It is surprisingly loud, and you can almost feel those bursts of air rushing out of the sound hole when you hit those bass notes. Uh, I would say this would retail between $2,000 to $4,000 depending on the condition it's in and if it's been repaired or refurbished. I've seen its price go up much more though online, and it really depends on probably the year that you're buying and what good condition it was, and what it's been through, the kind of people who may have played it and stuff. But I would say if you are an enthusiastic amateur guitarist like I am, and if you get your little kicks from exploring and discovering new guitars, then a vintage guitar is something you must get your hands on and explore the playability of that, as opposed to a guitar that's probably in good condition but almost new or new. What I mean is the seasoning that the wood goes through for solid wood guitars like these does make a difference to the sound. And while they say that good laminates can sometimes sound better than average solid wood guitars, you do see the beauty of the solid woods as aged guitars demonstrate. I would say I would give this about 8 out of 10 for playability, especially the action, which I have got reduced a bit. The action was slightly high because I think people prefer the loud booming sound this guitar can make. It can go much higher if you actually raise the action. But for me, I generally play fingerstyle, so it's not really volume that I'm concerned about. It's more about playability and the subtleties you get from those overtones and the subtle flourishes you can do for guitars that respond so well. So this was, like I said, initial impressions. I'll probably follow up with a review a couple of days later or maybe weeks later, and play a few pieces on this and compare it with the sound of the Fender or the other guitars I usually use for a comparison sometime. So looking forward to doing that, and I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope it helped you understand what this guitar is all about. Thanks for watching. Keep watching. Please subscribe.